Now let's embroider this. An embroidery thread is made up of 6 strands. We can split as we want. The divided embroidery thread is threaded on the needle. Threads on the needle should be long on one side and short on the other. The long sides should be knotted for embroidery. Rose Embroidery first embroidered these 5 straight lines from the outer diameter of the flower inward. After these 5 straight lines are embroidered, pin out next to the center point of the flower. After the needle comes out, let's coil in 5 embroidered straight lines. This embroidery thread first skips the first straight line and goes under the second straight line. Then skip another straight line. Go under the 4th straight line. Skip another straight line and go under this straight line. So every time a straight line passes through a straight line, one up and one down alternately, until the flower is full. Let's not pull this ball line too tightly when coiling. Just be naturally full. After the flowers are laid, thread the embroidery thread into the bottom next to the lace. Cross-stitch embroider this straight stitch first. Then the second line and the previous line intersectly stitched. Cartwheel stitches, threaded by the outgoing needle of the flower. After the needle is out, insert the embroidery cloth at the center point. Then the needle is inserted next to the first needle. After the needle is out, put the thread over the needle and tighten it. Repeat TPDP this. This stamina applies to French doux needles. Embroidery needles come out from the bottom. Hold the line with your left hand and wrap it around the needle. Then cross this needle tightly near into the cloth. Don't lose the left hand thread and slowly pull the line of your right hand. Be careful not to pull it too tight until the end, or the pockets won't be full. Contour rose stitch. First at the center of the flower embroidered a bucket needle embroidery. Then the needle threads out under the embroidery cloth. After the needle is out, go forward 1 needle. Don't tighten this stitch completely. Then push back under embroidery cloth. Thread out in the middle of 2 needles. Tighten the thread after pulling out the needle. Repeat to do this until the pattern is full. Until this pattern is embroidered all over. chrysanthemum leaf stitch needle comes out from the bottom. Then go through the cloth with this stitch. Don't tighten this line completely. Thread out the needle at the top of the pattern. After the needle is out, put the thread over the needle, tightens to form a small bow. Then the upper needle goes into the cloth. Herringbone embroidery needles come out from the bottom. Take a needle forward, and then back up under the cloth. The needle crossed out in the middle of the two needles. Tension thread after needle extraction. Repeat to do this. Pispy stitch needle goes through the bottom. Wrap a circle around the needle with embroidery thread. Thread through the embroidery cloth. The thread on the left hand must not be loosened, and slowly pull the line of your right hand. Be careful not to pull it too tight until the end. French bean embroidery needles go through the bottom. Hold the line with your left hand and go around like this. Then insert the needle into the embroidery cloth. Tulip embroidery needle goes through the bottom. Penetrate the cloth at the next point. Don't tighten this embroidery thread completely. Needle out under the embroidery cloth. After the needle is out, put the thread over the needle. And then this stitch goes through the cloth. Then the needle is drawn under the embroidery cloth. After exiting the needle, pass through the previous straight line. Then put a little bit into the cloth. Woven circle. First embroidery these for small lines on the cloth. And the needle comes out the bottom. Pass through them in sequence on 4 straight lines. Coiled embroidery thread. Just fill up this flower. This place uses sectional embroidery straight lines between 2 points of the pattern. Stitch after stitch until this pattern is embroidered all over. This is the flower stitch used. This little wing also uses a section show. After the section embroidery here is done, 2 needles are embroidered on it. First, embroider a needle on the embroidery cloth. Take a needle forward into the embroidery where the upper needle is retracted. Repeat embroidery like this. That's all for this. Thanks.